plant allows it to determine which way it should grow. So let's say we have a plant, and if it's got light coming from the side, it bends towards the light. This is a talk to your neighbor question. How would you design an experiment to determine what part of the plant can detect the light?
Like you have to cut off the top part. See, there's like like this one guy gets cut off the top, right? To see if it was still growing towards light. I don't remember what actually happened. But I think if you leave, like if you were to put the cut off a piece of the top and put it somewhere else, then like it would still, I don't know, it's weird. I swear.
Saying like, you grow enough, you could actually see the movement.
All right, what do you guys think? How might you test what part of the plant is detecting the light? Nobody came up with something, but yeah.
Or you can have one source of light and plant many different plants at different distances or different like, circle or something.
So that would detect if they were all going towards the light, but how do you know which part of the plant is the part that actually figures it out?
We said plant the same plant and put the light in different places on each plant to see if.
Okay, so you're only exposing certain parts of the plant to light? Yeah, it's kind of hard to do that with where you place the light, but a similar idea is if you cover bits of the plant with something that the light can't get through.
Well, I mean, put a hat on.
So basically, they put a hat on it. So if you put a light-proof cap on the tip of the plant, they don't go towards light.
That's
They
what I was
just
thinking.
grow straight.
I just did not explain.
So that suggests that the tip of the plant is what's determining which way they're growing. What if they just don't like having hats on?
The top.
How can you control for having a hat? Well, if you cut off the top person of the stem, you're removing the apical meristem, and that's going to cause all kinds of problems.
Cover just like the bottom.
Oh, you could cover just the bottom part and see if it still grows. But what if it really doesn't like having a hat? Like having something like right on the top of the plant?
Well, then you tape it down and tell it tough luck.
What if you put a clear hat? So this is a hat that lets light go through, but it controls for the fact that it has a hat. And when you put a clear hat on, it still grows towards the light. And your idea, where you put something on the lower part of the plant that blocks the light, it still grows towards the light. So it only grows towards it only stops growing towards light if you block light from the tip of the plant. So that suggests that it is the tip of the plant that's important for detecting where the light is coming from. All right? So a plant doesn't have eyes, but the cells at the tip of the plant can tell what direction light is coming from. All right, so that's phototropism. Plants also can express gravitropism. Gravitropism. So tropism means
Movement, directional movement?
directional, not movement, growth.
Growth.
Directional growth. Gravit sounds like
Gravity.
gravity. So that's exactly what gravitropism is. It's growth in response to gravity. If you're a plant, which direction do you want your shoots to grow? Up, right? Against gravity. Because that's where the light is coming from. So you want your shoots to grow up. Where do you want your roots to grow? Down, because that's where the soil is, right? So you need your shoots to grow up, you need your roots to grow down. If you're growing away from a stimulus, it's called negative tropism. So the shoots are experiencing negative gravitropism. The roots are experiencing positive gravitropism because they're growing towards the stimulus. germinating seeds. These are corn seeds that were placed in this orientation. So this corn seed was placed so that where the embryonic root grows out was down and where the embryonic shoot grows out was up. And so this corn seed was happy. The root went down, the shoot went up, everything was cool. This corn seed was planted upside down. And so the root does a U-turn and starts going down. And you can see the shoot is doing a U-turn and starts going up. This one was planted sideways, root's going down, shoot's going up. So that's going to be really, really important for a germinating seed. You need to have your roots go into the soil. You need to have your leaves go towards the sun. Otherwise, you're not going to survive. This is a tomato plant that got knocked over. Very quickly, you're going to see the shoots. This actually happened to my aloe. I don't know if anyone saw my aloe in my office before I whacked it. I had an aloe plant, and it jumped off of my my shelf over the weekend and landed upside down. And over the course of the weekend, the shoot started to bend up towards the light, and then I couldn't get it to straighten itself out again. So I had to just like whack the whole shoot off because it was the only way to get it to behave itself. So plants will do that pretty easily. These are examples. These are like if you go out in the forest here in Colorado, on steep slopes, what you tend to get in the winter, young trees will get pushed down by snow that's sliding down these slopes. And so the young trees will get pushed downwards. And then in the spring, they will start to bend back up towards the light. So a lot of times in snowy areas on steep slopes, you see these trees that have these really steep bends in them, which are the result of gravitropism as well. All right, questions about that? So the shoot tip is detecting light for phototropism. For gravitropism, the endoderm is actually the part of the shoot that is detecting gravity. And then in the root, it's the root cap, which is the part that's right at the tip of the apical meristem. So I actually have a slide about how the root cap figures it out. So this is the root cap right here. And if you look at the root cap, they have these veins they're called statoliths. There's these little heavy starch granules in the cell, and they will settle to the bottom of the cell. And so if the statoliths are settling to the side, that actually will trigger the cell to produce a signal to cause the root cells to elongate on the opposite side, which causes the root to grow down towards the gravity, which is kind of neat. They have these little things that are actually able to detect what orientation the cell is in, and then send a signal to the other cells in the root. Okay. Questions about any of that? Okay, that's gravitropism. We got one more tropism, which is thigmotropism. Thigmotropism is growth in response to touch. So for many plants, especially things that are like vining plants, they actually want to grow towards something that is touching them. So for example, this vine, if you ever look at a growing vine, you'll see these really long tendrils that are just reaching out away from the vine. They're not looking with eyeballs, but they are seeking something to wrap around. And so if they actually touch something, they will grow towards that thing and then wrap and coil around it to help the vine grow onto that thing. So that would be an example of positive thigmotropism, wrapping around another structure. This is not a windy day, but which way do you think the wind is blowing for this tree? In this direction. This would be an example of negative thigmotropism. This tree is constantly getting beat by wind on this side, and so it'll actually grow away from that stimulus and create kind of a more aerodynamic shape that allows them to survive the wind. Yes?
I had a plant that did that rabbit thing, so I had like a stick for it to grow around, but once it like got past that stick, it just started like growing like everywhere, and it was like all the way up in its stick. So is there any way for me to like stop it from like growing like just everywhere and make it more thick on the bottom, or?
You could cut off the bits that are growing everywhere, and that'll make it more thick on the bottom, because it'll cut off the apical meristem. Yeah, once they reach the end of the thing that they're holding on to, they'll just start like looking for something else to grab onto.
It was going crazy, and
Yeah.
I didn't know, like, and it was spinning out before, and I'm like, God, and then it died.
Yeah, next time whack off the things that are growing everywhere, and it'll invest more in its bottom part.
What does the Figmo mean?
Figmo means touch. Okay, I've got one last thing to show you guys. It's not a tropism, but it's figmonesty, or figmonasty, if that helps you remember. But it's actually pronounced figmonesty, and I've got a little video to illustrate this, so hold on a second.
Sounds like it's different. Like where biologists coming to the stage. Biologists.
No.
See some couple of big.
Okay, fine, I'll look for a new one.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is not what I want. Come on.
This is Brazil.
This one looks like, yeah. No, this is just a picture.
No,
I need a video.
It's going.
Is it going? Are you sure it's going?
Somebody's gonna take it.
You think so?
Yes.
This looks like a picture to me.
It's top.
Yeah, but this looks like a picture, and then it,
Just skip forward.
oh, okay, you're right. Let's go back. They're talking about the plan. All right, here we go. Watch this. So this is figmonesty. This is not growth in response to touch, but this is movement in response to touch. So this plant, when it is touched, it folds up its leaves, yes.
Do Venus flytraps leads?
They also have figmonesty. That is another good example. I don't know. They're a weed in semi-tropical locations. If you go down to like Florida, these things are everywhere, or anywhere in Central and South America. So they're pretty cool, honestly. I think.
Is
they're
it the
pretty cool.
only?
Yeah.
I had one of those, like, that they grow, like, a certain point, and they start putting out which is
You try it. I'm not very good with plants. But, yeah, so I'll explain how this works, on Monday.